All right. Welcome to episode 10, actually, of Wulfie's Skype sessions. And today I'm talking with Mr. Jarvis Leatherby, who is currently playing bass for Cirith Ungol, but you also play with Night Demon as well, which
Yeah. Hey, thanks
I
for having me.
don't.
Yeah, Night Demon. Yeah, that's my main band there. I sing and play bass, and I also play bass in Cirith Ungol, and I also manage Cirith Ungol. I was kind of uh, semi-responsible for resurrecting their career after 25 years of hiatus. So I kind of by default became the bass player. Um, there's four original guys, but the original bassist was not available for the full on reunion. So
Gotcha.
so it's just another one of my duties with the band. So yeah.
Now, I'll tell you something. Cirith Ungol was one of those bands, because I'm old enough where I remember, reading like Hit Parader and Circus back around 83, 84, and I would see the ads for the albums, but they were one of those bands I just never, for whatever reason, they evaded my radar. I never had anybody say whether they were good or not, and to recommend them and so it's like when the album came out last year, Forever Black, I was interested enough. Once we got it serviced to us, I had to listen, and it was one of my favorite albums last year. So,
That's great to hear, man. Yeah, well, I mean, I could say that, back then, I mean, the band never toured. So, they started the band in 1972. But the meat of their career was between 1981 and 1992. So that's really the active years. And they put out four records
yep.
during that time. And the band never toured. They went to Mexico once for a show, and the rest was just all around Southern California. So, you know, uh, their records were distributed throughout the world. I mean, their records were coming out on like Green World and Enigma, Restless Records, Metal Blade. They had some pretty good distribution deals at the time, so their music had traveled. And like you said, seeing stuff in advertisements and magazines and stuff. Uh, their name was kind of out there, but it's like people didn't really know how to pronounce it or what it was all about, and there was no there was no radio play for them. There was no MTV or anything commercial whatsoever, and again, no touring. So it's just kind of one of those things, right? It's like you heard it or you didn't, but you kind of always knew about it back then. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
even
I,
me.
I,
Yeah, go ahead.
I absolutely knew about them, but it's like it was one of those cases, and this is, the other guys on the show kind of bust me a little bit because I didn't really have guidance from other metal fans as I was getting into it. The people I hung out with liked dance music, and they liked hanging out at dance clubs, and I was the weirdo because I liked heavier music, and
Right, and like, yeah,
they're
that's a good point though. I Let me just say, a lot of people, you're never too old to get into something cool. And like you've definitely been you hit the nail right on the head. Your surroundings are so important, especially in a day and age where you don't have the internet, right? So
oh, absolutely.
there's tons of bands that you grow up hearing about. Their logo, what their album covers look like, but you may go 20 years without ever really hearing a note from that band. So
Exactly.
that's very common. It's not just the Cirith Ungol thing. And I think, there is a little bit of that today still, maybe a little bit. I guess with social media, you're constantly influenced and surrounded by your circle of people, right? So like there could be this whole other subgenre or scene that's super huge that we don't even know about, but and there is, I'm sure. uh, but when it comes to listening to something or being exposed to something, everything is just a click away now. And that's actually what helps Cirith Ungol. The internet, as many in the music industry say, it's a curse. I mean, it's a blessing for a band like this. That's what got them rediscovered to a whole new generation of fans. and 95% of the audience are not people that come see the band now, are not people that grew up with them, in that era. So
Right on. So coming up to present, there is an EP bundle that's going to be available soon, or is it available now?
it's available now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's available on our site, or you can go to theheavymetalstore.com and it's available there.
Good deal. So it's Half Past Human, and what's available with this?
So this EP that's coming out are actually 4 songs that were written in the 70s by the band that never really saw the light of day. So these are kind of reimagined for 2021, and they kind of like unearthed them out of the vault, and we kind of just went in and reworked them a bit, and they sound really awesome. But with this bundle that we have, it's like an exclusive that we're doing just through the band, and so it's a 12-inch LP that's available. Like it's available on a special color that's only available in the bundle. It's a cassette. It's a digipack CD. It's a flexi 7-inch of the song "Brutish Manchild" from the Decibel magazine series.
Right.
And there are also 3 art prints in there. Robert, the drummer, back in the day, like when they were like in school in the 70s, he used to kind of do these art prints with the lyrics of each song and kind of do this like drawing about what the song was about with the lyrics. And so we were able to get those. Yeah. And then it has a t-shirt in there as well. So I'm not sure what else. God, is that everything? I mean, that is a lot of stuff. It's a really cool package. So, and the fans have been all over it. It's only limited to 300. There are a few left though. Theheavymetalstore.com.
Very cool. One of the things that's like that always sparked my interest was because I like to read. I'm a fantasy horror fan, and one of the things that I always loved about their albums, because it's like I would see the album covers, and it's like I know that art because I've read those books, the Michael Moorcock Elric series.
Right.
So are all the guys pretty much into that?
Yeah, definitely. And Michael Whalen, the artist who illustrated and painted those covers, are good friends with the band. So this actually, Half Past Human is the completion of the Elric series, all 6 of those. This now from 1980, or 1981, from their first album, Frost and Fire, up until today, up into 2021, 40 years span. They have all 6 of those now on 6 records. So it's pretty awesome, man. It's a pretty cool thing to be able to close that circle after 40 years.
See, I always kind of wondered if the band had a connection with Michael Whalen because they were used. And I did not know that until now that there indeed was, because I'm like, man, it's like, how did they get the licensing to that just makes sense though if they knew him.
Yeah, I mean, we talk to him all the time, and like we the band went and played their first show in New York recently, and before the pre-pandemic, obviously, and he came out with his wife and his son, and we've been to some of his gallery showings, and he's still very tight with the band, and he does all the album covers, and we're always working on stuff with him, so it is awesome. And the one thing, it's like, it's not like a Frazetta thing where like, you can look at like Molly Hatchet album covers and you can easily be deceived. Cirith Ungol's music is heavy and it's epic, and
sure.
it's fantasy driven in the lyrics too, and it's great. It fits it. It fits the art fits the music.
And that's because I kind of look at it as a missed opportunity, because I played D&D from like, I don't know, 81 up until around the time I started college, and I was just like, man, I should have checked out one of their albums, because that would have been something we could have listened to. Well, it would have fit the atmosphere of our games,
Right. But I guess when you're playing that kind of stuff, I mean, I don't play. I'm not a role playing guy, but at least in that sense, but it's all about your imagination, right?
Oh, sure.
So all you got to do is just close your eyes and go back to that time when you were young and put one of those records on, and it'll probably help you bring back that memory, even though that wasn't a part of it. That's the magic of it all.
Absolutely. So, like I said, it's like wasn't sure how much entirely I had for you, and I did want to give you kind of an open platform for anything else you might have going on. If there's anything you have coming up with Night Demon, by all means, have
Yeah.
at it.
So Night Demon, we released 5 7-inch singles in the year 2020,
Yep.
and we had this idea to do this like before this pandemic was even, a glimmer in its father's eye. But by
Yeah.
the time it did happen, we had these singles scheduled starting on April 3rd, and we didn't tell anybody about it. We were just kind of dropping them on the days that they were coming out, and so we did that from April 3rd through August 7th, 2020. So every 5 weeks we would put out a single with a video and final single, and it went really well. And the fans were really happy, and it was definitely something to keep people occupied and interested in what we were doing while everybody was kind of sitting at home, which was really
Right.
nice. Although we had planned a lot of touring around that, I was happy that at least that was able to happen, and we were able to do that. After that, we launched a weekly podcast called the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast, and that runs every Friday. We're up to episode 40 coming up, and it's been
Cool.
really great. Yeah, it's a deep dive into the band. There's a ton of information on there with. It's not just the band hanging out. It's a show that's hosted and curated by somebody else, and he does interviews with the bands and the road crew and the fans and the record companies and everybody that surrounds the band story, does deep dives into songs. And it's been really fun. It's been really awesome. So we've been staying very busy, both bands, during this time, and we're just kind of waiting to go back and play. I will say that there looks like there may be maybe one gig happening later in the fall for Cirith Ungol, a bigger one, but we don't know yet. As far as Night Demon, we're probably looking at another 12 months until we tour, and that's just the way it is.
It,
Unfortunately, I mean, we would love to go out there, and I know there's people, we have fans and friends all over the world, and every day we hear from somebody or see something on social media that's like, hey, come here, come to Texas and play. I'll set it up. And, it's just, unfortunately, it's not that clear cut and dry. And without getting any political into it, because we don't really care about that stuff.
right.
It's easier said than done for a band to tour in the United States. There's 48 states that have 48 different policies right now, and to
Oh,
go
yeah.
from one place to the next, we just want to be sure that everybody's on the same page. So if we have to wait for that to happen, that's fine. I mean, the last thing that we want to see, or last thing we want to do, is play concerts and have our fans be told, that either they have to be segregated because they're not vaccinated, or they can't come in because they're not vaccinated. And I'm not anti-vaxxing or anything. That I'm anti-segregation. I'm anti putting people on different levels because of whatever choices they want to make in their lives. I mean, if we feel safe enough to go out there and play.
You want everybody to be able to come out and enjoy it. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And so for us, we it sucks that it's going to be a whole nother year for us, because really, we were thinking like 1 year max, that's enough, but it's just, we really, I mean, we did 600 shows in the last 4 years prior to the pandemic. So maybe the fans need a little break from us too, I guess. But I know a lot of people are missing us, and we're missing them too. But
Right.
again, we're going to when we come back, when we start touring again 12 months from now, the borders will be open. We'll be able to go internationally as well. And it's just going to you know, and at that point, like, look, if things still aren't sorted out, we'll just do whatever it takes. You know, I mean, at that
Yeah.
point, we'll suck it up and be like, okay, this is what it is. But I mean, for the most part, we just want to have the best opportunity to give to you know, to represent ourselves the best way, and that's the same reason why we haven't done any live stream shows this year, because we think that's a pretty poor representation of what we do. Not so much for other bands, but we've got a ton of energy on stage, and
And it
it's
wouldn't
just different.
convey as well in like a
No,
video stream.
no, I don't think so. It works for some bands,
I get
like
that.
I've enjoyed some of these, I really have, and it's definitely cool for the fans. But I don't know. I don't. Maybe we just wouldn't do it as well as you know, as well as I don't think we have it in us to put enough effort into something like that, and we don't like to half-ass anything. I mean, also, already with the podcast and then working on a new record and then all this other stuff coming out, it's like we've got our hands full with stuff, and we're giving the fans content every week, so we're pretty content with that. But we want to get back out there. At least now we know kind of at least our plan of when that's going to happen, and for
Yep.
the first time in a year, and first time in 13 months, we're able to kind of make some plans for our life, which is, God, it's really nice when you're living in a world of uncertainty. And I'm not saying it's still uncertain, but at least it's not like, I mean, we were at a point where, I mean, we had so much stuff booked this year where it's kind of like any week, the phone could ring and somebody could say, all right, it's on, like next week,
Yep.
so it sucks. It's hard to live that way when you have it for a while. So,
Oh, I get it.
yeah.
And it's like it's all well and good that like for those states that are easing up on restrictions, it's like great, have fun. I hope everybody stays healthy, but at the same time, you know, if you're not comfortable playing someplace, it kind of goes both ways there. It's like if you want to get out there and play, more power to you. I don't think I would be comfortable as a fan going to a show at this stage, or at least definitely not full capacity. But that's
Well,
just me.
well, yeah, but I mean that's the thing. Like I think it should be up to the people that, and again, I'm not getting political about this, but I mean, it should be up to an individual to make up their own mind about what they want to do with their lives. I mean, if they feel they want to go and put themselves at risk, that's their decision. If they feel that they're vaccinated and they feel safe around that situation, then they
That's
should be
fine
able to
too.
do that too.
Sure.
So, I mean, it does suck. I mean, I guess there is a whole thing of it's like I don't want to go out and get sick either. So I guess it's just, again, it's hard to straddle this line, man, and not somebody any these days. Just everybody gets offended by anything, and so I'm not trying to assume anything about anybody.
Right.
I'm just saying, we do live in a free society, and you know I'm not an anti-vaxxer, I'm not an anti-masker, but I mean, there are things that make sense, and there are things that people should do just because it's nearly not going to hurt them to put a mask on in public places, I guess. But I wouldn't want to go see a show with the mask on. I just wouldn't. Like, it's not comfortable for me. Like, I wouldn't
Right.
want to play a show where a bunch of people are like singing the words and it's just a big muffled noise. Like, I'd just rather wait, and that's all. I'd just rather wait. And I'm not knocking anybody that needs to go out there and make a living and do it. By all means, go ahead. I mean, that's what gets this thing started for all of us. It's got to start back somewhere.
It does.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. So I'll leave it at that.
Right on. So, anyhow, I think that's all I got for you today. Um, Half Past Human, Cirith Ungol, grab one while they're still available, and support Night Demon. They're a good band.
Thanks.
Very good things about them. I know I like what I've heard that we've been playing on the show as the albums come out, and I remember seeing one of our co-hosts went to see. I think it was the Bug Jar in Rochester,
Yeah. Okay.
Just,
That was an awesome gig. Yeah. That was like in the dead of
our
winter, I think. Yeah.
Lance Ritchie
Yeah.
is one of our
Lance. Oh,
co-hosts.
Lance is amazing. Lance is an
Yeah, Lance is a
awesome,
cool dude.
awesome dude. Yes. Yes. Lance is great. That's so cool, man. Yeah. Please tell him hello from us. Um, yeah. Awesome. I remember that gig well. That's very cool. Yeah. We got to get back up there.
That gig got raves. I remember very well. So
Yeah. We got to
yes,
get back. We got to get back up there, man.
yes, indeedy, you will be welcome with open arms.
Killer.
All right. Well, thank you for taking some time with me here today. Check out Wulfie Skype sessions on YouTube. That is at the Randy Metalwulf YouTube page. I mean, well, if you're listening to this interview, you're already there, but hey, throw me a like if you haven't already. Go to MetallicOnslaught.com for all your Metallic Onslaught needs. And, while you're at it, check out The Last Exit for the Lost, our sister show. Throw them some likes and some love. We're all one big happy family. So, yes. Thank you once again, and hope to talk to you again sometime, dude.
All right. Thanks so much, Randy.
All
Take
right.
care.
No problem. Take care.
All right. See ya.